Hello everybody, hope everybody's doing great today. Appreciate those of you watching this video. I do hope you enjoy it. And if you do, hit that like button and subscribe. It's the beginning of the month of December, as you can see by the Christmas tree behind me. So if you hit the like button and subscribe, it'd be your Christmas present to me, as this video is my Christmas present to you. You know, it's the whole give and take type of deal. So anyways, let's talk about today's show. We're going to be talking about Lady Ballers. This is from the Daily Wire. And while they want to say this is about transgender or transgenderism, this is really more about greed and people being self-centered in this show. And but before we get into like the deep depth of the show, should rewind a little bit. When I first saw the trailer of this, I was kind of worried because the trailer is about 2.5 minutes. And what I was worried about was that all the funny stuff was in this 2.5 minute trailer. You know, how many times have you watched a trailer of a comedy coming out and you find out of the 90-minute comedy, all the funny stuff was in that 30-second to a minute trailer? So I was kind of wondering if that was going to be the problem with this movie. After all, like I said, it's like 2.5 minutes. They did put all the comic stuff in this 2.5 minute movie, and so I already know all the jokes. I'll get into that a little later on. Just give me a couple minutes. But yeah, like I said, this movie is basically about greed and people being self-centered, but they use the vehicle of transgenderism to express those two characteristics in people. And what I mean by that is also, let me get my thoughts straight here. Also, you also get a little bit of the generation gap thing, how older people think and how differently from these maybe the millennials or Gen Z. I would imagine these guys are basically, they graduated in 2008, so yeah, I guess there are millennials. We see this, go from the least important topic first. We see this as when we have our coach here, and he's giving this, Coach Rob, you know, he's giving this great speech, and we see how it is in 2008 as he's really getting onto them, motivating them to do better, and they're all fired up to go out there and do their best on the court. And then they fast forward to 15 years later, and he's trying to give the same speech, the same prep talk to get his basketball team, which is now, he's now no longer teaching high school. He's teaching like a rec type of place. Anyways, how these kids are just uninterested in what he's saying. They're more interested in what's on their phone. So you kind of get the difference in generations. And then you even get another, like the newer generation, as they use that to his daughter and what they're teaching her in school, you know, about the different types of gender identities that you have. And she's basically the one who teaches him and his ex-players on, you know, what is transgender and sexual identity and stuff like that. But as we're going through here to the next topic, which is probably the more important part, is how these characters are very self-centered and kind of greedy as well. Especially we talk about here our head coach here. We see that he was like a very successful head basketball coach in high school. He just won his 3rd championship. You know, you have his loving wife, who he's more like, you know, everything's over the top. You know, they're all making out here in front of these high school kids and in front of the camera as they just won this championship. But he's all about winning because it basically brings him glory in a lot of ways, brings him pride. This is where the self-centeredness comes from. Brings him this pride that he has because he's this great coach. And then we see later on, once, you know, times has changed, and for whatever reason, he didn't, you know, adapt to the changes. I guess that's the reason why he got fired. Why he got fired is still kind of iffy. You know, what was the real reason? Did he, you know, throw too many chairs on the court? Which is kind of funny because, you know, they're bringing up the issue of Bobby Knight throwing chairs on the court, you know. And our coach Robert says, you know, what else can I do? I threw 3 chairs onto the court to motivate you guys. I'm running out of ways, you know, which is kind of funny. And it kind of brings back the memories of, like I said, Coach Bobby Knight, and stuff like that. But going back here to him being like a self-centered person, and maybe that's why he got a divorce as well, or he's going through a divorce. Doesn't sound like it's been finalized in this at this time during this movie, but he's kind of seeking more of this glory, and that's why he decides to get the team back together, so they can be winners once again, get this greed of and self-centered, this satisfaction of being on top, being winners again. And what better way to get this feeling that he had in his youth than act like his players are actually girls and women, and take over this women competition and win all these medals. And first, it takes him a little convincing to get his players on board. But once they get on board, they pretty much go full metal. I mean, I was kind of surprised that how early on some of his players and them kind of felt bad about dominating these women. However, once they started getting sponsors and seeing that they can get all this money, stuff like this, which comes into the greed part, they threw that all out the window, and they're like, this went full blown with it to get their, those sponsorships, that feeling of being winners once again, and becoming rich. That's why I say this movie is more about greed and people being self-centered, more than about the transgender issue, which is there, obviously, because that's what this movie is about, how men can dominate women on the sporting field. If that was, and it sounds like, just through interviews, that was what they're trying to push, was that there is a difference between men and women. I guess they did do a good job on that part, but overall, this is really about a group of men who are just being, or a group of people, I should say, just being greedy and very self-centered. And this also goes into like the news reporter woman who is very domineering. You call her a dominatrix. She likes to, well, you just gotta watch it, but she's very domineering, but she's also trying to look for her own fame. She's trying to look for her own awards, and she's the one that kind of pushes Coach Rob and these guys along, and she wants to do a documentary for this, so she can, heighten up her own status in the news world. And she's willing to do anything to get this accomplished. We see this later on when the guys are starting to feel maybe a little bad, try and back out a little bit. She pushes it even further and gets another group of men. I'm not going to go, almost spoil it, but you see it in the trailers that there's another group of men that they play against. And so we see how far she's willing to go to achieve her goals. That's basically what this movie is about. Once you watch it, they just used a vehicle of, like I said many times already, of the transgender issue to push this idea of these people who enter women's sports of being greedy, self-centered, and maybe that's what transgenderism is. I don't know. It's up to you to decide. Is a bunch of people just are very narcissistic, if I'm saying that word right, and self-centered and being greedy, that they're willing to achieve status and being to win or to get money or sponsorship. They go into women's sports and dominate it, because let's face it, a lot of these men, when they compete against other men, they're just average or below average athletes. So they go to the women's side, where they are like the top athletes in whatever field that they decide to choose. As a comedy, show is funny. I did find it very hilarious and humorous. Like all great comedies, it has this running joke. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's from the beginning, and they use it throughout. And does it pay off in the end, this running joke? Does it give you like that one last great laugh? Yeah, I guess it does. Maybe, perhaps, it kind of hits it, but it could have hit a little harder. I guess you could say. That's not the joke of hitting harder, by the way. But anyways, yeah, you get that running gag throughout, which I found hilarious. The funny thing I found funny was reading the signs that Matt Walsh's character puts up in his yard. By the way, I think Matt Walsh steals the show. Every scene he's in, he's the scene stealer. Just love Matt Walsh's character in this. I thought he did an excellent job. But the thing that I found the funniest is when in his signs, he had a sign that said, guns don't kill people, white people kill people. I don't know. I found that very hilarious, very sarcastic, you know. That one actually made me laugh out loud. Actually, all his signs were humorous. I just found that one the funniest. Yeah. So, is all the funny stuff in the trailer? A good portion of it is, but there's a lot of other funny stuff that's not in the trailer that you'll laugh at. So yeah, so it is. I think for me, I did find it very humorous. A very humorous show. I think they hit it right on the comedy. The ending was a little cheesy to me, how it ended. I wish they would have picked a different direction with it. To me, the ending didn't really, they didn't really nail it on the head there. Didn't really hit the spot. It kind of faltered a little bit with the ending, especially when it came to the transgender issue type of thing. The ending, where it finally ends, it was pretty good. Like when it was dealing more with Coach Rob's family dynamics, that part was good, but not the transgender ending. Need to drink some water, getting a little dry here on the mouth. But yeah, so I would the acting, as far as I know, I don't think they have any professional actors. Maybe they do. I have no idea. But the acting was pretty good. Photography was good. Music, all that stuff. It was your average. It was pretty good. So I would, if you're somebody who follow these people, I would recommend it. If not, I would recommend it with caution. It is got these cheesy parts. It is funny. But it is kind of like a B-ish movie kind of thing. So I would, I'll just go ahead and recommend. Yeah, I'll go recommend it. Just like I said. But when I recommend with caution, I recommend it with like it's almost recommendable. I think your average person probably would enjoy it a little bit, but you enjoy it a little bit more if you actually know these kind of people. Follow them. I was kind of disappointed in Clay Travis's character a little bit. I wish they gave him a little bit more. I don't know, like his lines were not very good. It's like a lot of he didn't kind of like what I'm doing right now. Like he would talk but not really finish his thoughts. I kind of felt on his lines. But overall, I enjoyed it. Hope you guys have a great day. Until next time, bye.